Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to our new video. Welcome to another video. Disclaimer. None of the events mentioned are true. No idol is being harmed in the video, and any idol doesn't have any type of negative role. Let's start our new video, our new episode. The evening was alive with the flow of chandeliers and the clinking of expensive glasses. The city's most prestigious gala was meant to be a night of elegance, where power hungry businessmen and their trophy wives mingled under the watchful eyes of flashing cameras. Jungkook entered the grand hall with the arrogance of a man who believed the world belonged to him. Every step he took was calculated, his black suit tailored to perfection. His sharp jawline set with an air of authority. People notice him the way moths notice fire, draws to his intensity, but careful not to get burned. He was known for two things: his ruthless business sense and his temper. Tonight he was already on edge, his pride invaded by attention and the knowledge that no one in this room would dare to challenge him. Until she did. Jiminy. She wasn't dressed like the glittering societies who surrounded him. No kind gown or diamond necklace sparkled at her throat. Instead, she wore a simple pastel dress, elegance wrapped in modesty. Her long hair framed her delicate face, her eyes carrying a quiet fire that made her stand more than any jewel. There was a grand hall, and the richness is being seen through all the sides of the room of the grand hall where Jiminy and Jungkook was present. Jungkook noticed her only when his careless hand brushed her wrist as she tried to stop past him near the drinks table. He smirked, lean- leaning too close. Careful, sweetheart. He drawled, his breath brushing her ear. You might fall for me if you keep lingering here. Jiminy turned to him, her lips parting in shock. She wasn't used to such insolence. But Jungkook didn't stop. He reached for a glass in her hand, his fingers caressing her deliberately. Let me help you. Ladies shouldn't hold drinks alone, especially not when I am around. It was loud enough for the nearby crowd to hear. A few people chuckled nervously, trying to decide whether to ignore his behavior or laugh along because of his status. Jiminy's cheeks flamed, not with shyness, but with anger. Her voice was sharp, calm, and laced with steel. Behave! The words sliced through the air, silencing those around them. Jungkook blinked, amused at first, until he realized she wasn't playing coy. She was serious, deadly serious. He tilted his head, smirking wider. Or what? The answer came faster than he could have imagined. Slap. Her hand connected with his cheeks in a crack so loud it echoed off the marble walls. Gas filled the room, glasses stilled mid-air, and for the first time in years, Jungkook felt heat rise in his face. not from arrogance, but humiliation. His jaw clenched, the red mark on his cheek burned with second of silence. His reputation, carefully built on fear and control, wavered as he whispered spread like wildfire. He was slapped in public by a girl no one even recognized. Jiminy didn't want for him to recover. She looked him straight in his eyes, her voice steady. A man who doesn't know how to respect women doesn't deserve respect himself. And with that, she walked away, her heels clicking against the marble floor, leaving Jungkook frozen in disbelief, fury boiling beneath his calm mask. That night, the gala ended for him in humiliation. He left early, ignoring the stares, ignoring the false sympathy of so called friends who secretly delighted in his downfall. In the back seat of his sleek black car, he sat in silence, his fingers drumming against the leather seat, replaying the slap over and over. Her face, her audacity, her words. No one had ever dared. No one had ever humiliated him like that. By the time he reached his penthouse, his humiliation had already hardened into rage. The next morning, Jungkook entered his office with a storm brewing behind his eyes. His secretary, Mr. Park, greeted him nervously. Good morning, sir. The files you requested are ready. Not now. Jungkook snapped, tossing his coat onto the chair. His mind wasn't on business today. It was on her. He hadn't even asked her name, but he remembered her face vividly, etched into his mind like a scar. He needed to know who she was. Park, he said suddenly, his tone dangerously calm. Find out who that girl was at the gala last night. Mr. Park blinked in confusion. Girl? Sir, which girl? The one who slapped me. Jungkook growled, his patient razor thin. The older man paled. Of course, everyone had aired about the incident, trying to cover his own discomfort. He nodded quickly. Yes, sir. I will check the guest list. Hours passed, but Jungkook was relentless. By afternoon, Mr. Park, his secretary, returned, his hand shaking slightly as he held a folder. Sir, I found her. Jungkook snatched the file and flipped it open. The net hit him like a cruel twist of fate. Jiminy Park, daughter of his secretary. For a long moment, Jungkook said nothing. He stared at the photo clipped to the file. Her innocent yet defiant eyes staring back at him, mocking him all over again. Mr. Park swallowed nervously. She's my only daughter, sir. Please don't. But Jungkook laughter cut him off. It wasn't warm. It was amused. It was cold, sharp, and dripping with malice. Fate, he murmured. closing the folder with a snap. How generous of you. Mr. Park froze. Sir, Changuk stood, adjusting his cufflinks. His humiliation from last night now twisting into something darker. She dared to humiliate me in front of everyone. Me, and now I find out she's your daughter. Oh, this is too perfect. Sir, please. Mr. Park begged, panic flooding his voice. Jimmy, I didn't mean she's young, impulsive. I will make her apologize. Apologize? Jungkook's eyes narrowed dangerously. No, Mr. Park, an apology won't raise, but she did. A lesson must be taught. She will regret ever crossing me. He leaned closer, his voice low and venomous. And since he's your daughter, you won't be able to stop me. Mr. Park lip trembled, but he couldn't afford. Please, sir, she's my family. Then you should pray for her, Jungkook said coldly, turning away. From that moment, his plan formed, slow, deliberate, and merciless. He wouldn't simply hurt Jiminy. No, that was too easy. He would trap her, bind her fate to his until she understood what it meant to defy him marriage. The word slithered into his thoughts like poison and honey combined. It was perfect, the ultimate revenge. To tie her to him, to strip her freedom, to make her live every day at his mercy. The idea thrilled him, not because he wanted her, not yet, but because she had taken his pride and he would take her life as she knew it. Days later, Jungkook called Mr. Park into his office again. I have decided something, he said casually while he was sipping his coffee. The secretary nearly dropped the file in his hand. Mary? Sir, this isn't not a request. Jungkook interrupted smoothly. A decision. Mr. Park face drained of color. He knew his ball enough to understand what this meant. This wasn't about love. This wasn't about family. This was revenge. And his daughter was target. Sir, she won't agree. Mr. Park whispered desperate. Jungkook's lips curved into a dark smile. She doesn't have to. You will convince her. You are her father. And if you refuse, he leaned back in his chair, his gaze sharp as a blade. Consider your career over and your future with it. The older man's shoulders sagged. He was trapped, caught between his daughter's happiness and the power of the man who owned his livelihood. Jungkook watched him secretly, silently, satisfaction curling in his chest. The trap that he built was already closing. Jiminy had humiliated him in public, and now he wanted to take revenge from her. Now he would make sure her private life became her prison. and she will never see it coming that she has done the biggest mistake she had done through her life. The slap had felt righteous in the hurt of the moment. The sting on her palm had been satisfying when Jungkook's arrogant face turned in shock. But the very next morning, as Jiminy walked through the quiet streets to her university, reality began to creep into her chest like a slow poison. She had slapped Jeon Jungkook, not just any man, not just some arrogant stranger, but Jungkook, the ruthless businessman whose empire stretched across the city like an invisible hand. Everyone whispered about him, everyone respected him, everyone feared him, and she had humiliated him in public. The thought made alone her stomach churn. At first, she had tried to justify it to herself. He deserved it. He was misbehaving. No woman should have to stay silent. And she was right. She knew she was. But right and wrong didn't matter in a world run by power. And Jungkook had more of it than anyone. The whisper began almost immediately. By the time she received campus, people were already staring. A group of girls near the library giggled and pointed at her, their voice carrying just enough for her to hear that they were whispering about him and her. That's her, the one who slapped him. Crazy. She doesn't know what kind of man he is. She will regret it. Her steps faltered, her cheeks burning. She hurried past, clutching her books tightly to her chest, trying to ignore the weight of their eyes. But it didn't end there. Later that day, she overheard two of her professors whispering in the corridor. They say Jungkook is furious. Well, who wouldn't be? His pride was destroyed in front of the entire business community. That girl, she doesn't know what storm she's invited. The storm, the word echoed in her mind after she returned home that evening. Her father was waiting at the dinner table, his face pale and lined with stress. Jiminy, he began carefully, as though speaking to a fragile glass about to shatter. What happened at the gala? Her fork froze midway to her lips. You, you heard? How could I not? Mr. Park's voice shook. Everyone is talking about it. Do you have any idea what you have done? He's my boss, Jiminy, my employer. And you? His voice cracked, and he pressed a trembling hand to his forehead. You humiliated him? She sat, her fork down slowly, guilt twisted inside her. He was disrespecting me. I only. You should have walked away, her father snapped, uncharacteristically sharp. Then, seeing the tears gathering in her eyes, he softened. You don't understand, sweetheart. He isn't like ordinary man. He doesn't forgive, he doesn't forget, and now I don't know what he will do to us. Her appetite vanished. She excused herself quietly, retreating to her room, where she sat on the edge of her bed, her hands clutching her knees. The walls seemed to close in around her. For the first time, she regretted it, not because he hadn't deserved it, but because she realized the price of standing against him was far heavier than she had imagined. Days passed, each were heavier than the last. She expected Jungkook to appear, to storm into her life and unleash his wrath, but he didn't, not directly. Instead, he moved like a shadow. His professor grew colder, her classmate more distant. Small opportunities slipped away. An internship she had been hoping for suddenly vanished. A scholarship application mysteriously lost. Every time she tried to trace the reason, one named Harvard. At the Jungkook, it was subtle but deliberate, like the tightening of nose. And Jiminy, caught in the middle, felt herself suffocating. One evening, her father came home, his shoulders slumped in defeat. He didn't touch his dinner, didn't smile at her. He simply stared at the table until finally he spoke. He called me into his office today. Jiminy breath caught, and her father lifted his eyes, and she saw fear in them. Fear so deep it made her own blood run cold. He said he wants to marry you. The words didn't register at first. She laughed, short and nervous. Marry? That's that's some kind of cruel joke. But her father didn't laugh. He didn't even blink. Her smile faltered. Appa, you can't be serious. I tried to tell him no, Mr. Park whispered. I begged him, but he looked at me with those eyes, and I know if I refuse, I lose everything, my job, my reputation, and you. His voice broke. He will destroy you, Jiminy. Her body went cold. There was sudden silence at the a marriage proposal not born of love, not even desire, but revenge. The ultimate punishment. No, she whispered, shaking her head furiously. I won't do it. I won't let him trap me like that. Her father's face crumpled with despair. You don't understand. He won't take no for an answer. The next day, the truth of his words arrived like thunder. It was another gala, another gathering of the city's light. Jiminy hadn't wanted to go, but her father insisted it's better for you to face him in public. He had said maybe he won't push too far. The bar room glittered with golden light, but to Jiminy it felt like a cage. She kept her eyes down, avoiding the curious stare of people who already know the rumors. her heart pounding in her chest when she felt it, the shift in the air, the way the crowd parted. He was here. Jungkook entered with his usual commanding stride, every inch the ruler of his kingdom of wealth. But tonight there was something different in his gaze, calculated, dangerous. He didn't waste time. The moment the orchestra softened, he strode toward the center of the room, his voice carrying with perfect clarity. Ladies and gentlemen, he announced, his tone smooth as silk. I have an important declaration to make. The crowd hushed, their attention snapping to him like moths to flame. Jiminy breath caught when his eyes locked on hers, cold, unforgiving, possessive. I, Jeon Jungkook, he said, each word deliberate, wish to propose marriage. Gas rippled through the room. People leaned closer, craning their necks. Who would it be? What woman would capture the interest of the city's most ruthless man? And then, with cruel precision, he extended his hands toward her. To Miss Jiminy Park. The words seemed to tilt. Jiminy's knees nearly gave way as every eye in the bedroom swung to her. Murmurs erupted instantly. Her, the secretary daughter, after what she did to him? Jiminy's father looked as though the ground had opened beneath him. The whispers turned into a storm, but all could Jiminy hear was the pounding of her heart that was beating as fast as it can. She wanted to scream, to say no, to run, but Jungkook's eyes pinned her in place. There was no affection in them, no vulnerability, only triumph, only willingness. Hope you guys like the video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And tell me in comment section what type of stories you like. That's it. Bye bye. See you soon, all of you. Bye.